As of today, Dahvie Vanity has blocked me on Instagram. Looks like me and him aren't gonna be getting martinis together anytime soon.
Happy birthday!
Oh, dude, whoa.
We have like a bunch of them.
Dahvie Vanity of Blood on the Dance Floor came to my friend's apartment, drove 2.5 hours one way, to f*** my friend. But we were all here, and he went to get his Switch from the car, and then left.
What's going on?
Good, what's up?
Chilling.
Okay. So, my friends just showed up.
Who?
If that's cool.
That's cool.
They just, they know it's kind of like not their video, so they just showed up. Yeah, we're good. Bye.
So, Dali, you started rock and roll very early, like 18 or something. You got in
I started touring like
band.
right after I turned 18. It was kind of like emotionally and almost physically abusing though, like touring that way. The person that was like in the band with me like forced me to do a lot of things that I didn't want to do. The reason why I quit touring is because I was diagnosed with HIV like last year, and I was forced to go on tour without treatment.
What?
I found out I was diagnosed, and then I told him what was happening, and I didn't have like insurance at the time or anything, so I had no idea what I was gonna do. Came back, I was like really sick. And then I was like hospitalized, and then I was, you know, did the whole treatment and everything, and then a few months later I was undetectable, so she bounced back real healthy.
Dahvie Vanity is still a free man. That is a fact that should scare, or at the very least, unnerve you. This is a man who has been confirmed to have literally forced his way into dozens of little girls. Now, while his YouTube and Instagram followings are most likely 60% fake and paid for, there's still that 40% of following that is genuine. He still has thousands upon thousands of fangirls who still support and romanticize him and his behavior. And it should come as no surprise most of these quote-unquote fans are either little girls between the ages of 9 to 14, or they're really creepy, out-of-touch old women. Usually it's the former. When the person who is genuinely your only bandmate for 8 years comes out against you and refuses to even say your name because of the unspeakable things you did over those years you toured, that should really not only shine a light on this person, but should make everyone who knows his name swear him off instantly. I know it's been said 1,000,000 times, but I'll say it 1,000,001 times because obviously 1,000,000 times is not enough to put this guy in prison. This guy is sick. He's a disgusting child abuser who literally needs to not only be exiled from every single metal and music community on the globe, but also needs to be locked up as soon as humanly possible. To give you an idea of how absurd it is that this guy isn't in prison right now, R. Kelly genuinely has been accused of less disgusting stuff than Dahvie Vanity. It is widely believed that the conception of Blood on the Dance Floor was entirely so that Jesus David Torres, known professionally as Dahvie Vanity, could have access to hordes of screaming little girls. His overall lack of musical talent is pretty strong evidence of this, as it's very clear to anyone who listens to him that he doesn't care about his music whatsoever, and every little single thing about him is fake. His hair, completely fake. The rare times he actually hits a note in his music, fake. His message about being anti-bullying and caring about his fans, entirely fucking fake. This is a psychotic individual with a disgusting need for constant sexual gratification, and he will do anything he possibly can to get that gratification. Remember that incident I discussed in my last video, which by the way you should go watch if you haven't, where Dahvie quite literally orally violated a 14-year-old girl forcefully without consent? Yeah, if you weren't aware, that isn't even close to the first time he's done that. He's done it many, many times, and from the things I've heard, he almost does it for sport. It's almost like the fact he doesn't get caught is what he gets off on. Dahvie's main method of getting away with these heinous crimes is usually gaslighting everyone involved in the situation until the victims feel as if they've done something wrong. The most notorious case of this being Jessie Slaughter, who in my last video I accidentally said that she made up the entire thing. Well, that was before I did all of my research on it. I've now come to the conclusion that Jessie Slaughter was certainly telling the truth, and that she falsely apologized to Dahvie to stop his hordes of mouth-breathing fans from attacking her. Which, they were only attacking her because Dahvie sent them to do so and told Jessie Slaughter all sorts of disgusting things. They also made stuff like this. Dahvie is a notoriously manipulative guy. I grew up with some abusers, and know myself a lot of manipulative language abusers use to dance around their accusations. And let me just say, Dahvie ticks all the red flags for being an abuser for me. He has an innate ability to charm people, usually little girls, by talking in a soft voice with puppy eyes.
And the last 3 years of it, we had a falling out.
By blaming other people around him and disregarding all of the allegations against him.
And there was just that. There was things where he said I left him homeless, which was not true. There was a roof over his head. The bills were paid. He had groceries. He even like smoked a pound of my weed. Whatever. Like, it was cool. But like.
And by straight up ridiculing and abusing those who speak out against him.
He's a fucking scumbag. And I'll tell you why you're a scumbag.
He also uses a lot of projection in his music videos.
The allegations against you are substantial and severe.
It's interesting to me how Dahvie tries to claim that he's completely innocent, and that all allegations against him are clearly false and made up by crazy people. When quite literally every single person who has known or been associated with him has come out and said that he's an awful person, with no regard for anyone's safety or comfort. After days of searching Dahvie's name and the people he's been associated with, only one person has said anything even remotely nice about Dahvie and his band. And that person is Social Repose, and if you even have half a brain, you'd know that's probably the worst source of information ever. Also, I do not believe Javon Monroe is completely innocent. There have been too many people coming out about his behavior on tour for me to believe that this guy is void of all responsibility for the trash fire that was blood on the dance floor. It's widely believed that Javon Monroe facilitated and paved way for Dahvie to commit a lot of his crimes against minors on tour. Along with seemingly being complicit in that, he's been known to be quite rude and abusive to fans, with many people coming forward and discussing how rude and sometimes physical he got. Though to play devil's advocate, I don't believe Jay is as bad as Dahvie. I don't think it makes sense to rid him of his status as a potential predator enabler though, just because he left the band and played the victim card against Dahvie. Obviously, his obscure and niche-oriented pop music isn't going to be used by him to manipulate and coerce young boys into disgusting behavior, so I don't think it's fair to lump him into the exact same category as Dahvie, but I'll say it again, he can't possibly just be let off the hook for what he most likely has witnessed. Now, I see a lot of comments, mostly from naive young women, saying that if Dahvie was truly doing what has been alleged of him, that he'd be in prison. Well, the truth is, it's not that simple. Out of 1,000 hardcore confirmed rapists, only 100 are reported, 30 face any legal consequence whatsoever, and only 10 are jailed. It's extremely hard to prove an accusation like what Dahvie's accused of when the person being accused is savvy to investigation tactics that'll be used against them, and they cover their tracks. There are even mass PSAs on websites like Tumblr from Dahvie's victims to Dahvie's victims stating that if you've been assaulted by him and don't report it, that it's totally understandable because of the difficulty of doing so, which really shouldn't be the case, but it is what it is in this world. Now, I'm trying to score some interviews for future videos from people who claim to have been assaulted or harassed by Dahvie. If you're someone who has been either of those things and wish to come on the show to tell your story, please leave a comment below telling me so, and I'll get to you shortly with my contact information and when we'll get this going. This case is not over, and I'm not even close to finish making content about Dahvie. Chris Hansen is currently working to open a can of worms for Dahvie, and as soon as the FBI gets involved, which they probably will, if someone as reputable as Chris Hansen reports Dahvie, a malicious child predator, to them, then Dahvie will probably get arrested almost instantly. This isn't like Onision's case, where the aggressor happens to be super smart about the laws and manages to slither his way out of trouble using legal loopholes. See, Dahvie is as aggressive and blatant as he is dumb. The breadcrumbs of evidence he's left behind the past decade are more than enough to assure he never sees day ever again. Thank you all for watching the first episode of the Dahvie Vanity Files. I will try to get episodes out weekly. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more.